And as you've been working with Big Squid clients and helping them implement the Kraken software, what are some of the commonalities that you've seen of customers and clients that are really successful with machine learning when they've never done machine learning before?
I think really one of the first things, and my answer might change day to day depending on when you ask me, right? But I think that one of the things that comes to mind is just having the right expectations. Coming in with the wrong expectations is always going to cause some friction and prevent things from running smoothly, and even the ability to run with it into the final solution, which is where you end up getting value out of it. Anything that really stops you from kind of that final step of creating an actionable solution from that project, and in this case I would say disillusionment or just having unmet expectations, so which is caused by having incorrect or fallacious expectations, ends up yielding higher likelihood for an unsuccessful client.
And what are some of the expectations that are good, and what are some of the expectations that are maybe a little bit misguided?
Yeah, so I think that misguided expectations generally come from just not knowing the strengths and weaknesses of machine learning. Not understanding that anytime that you have to run another math problem, like really you have to ask another machine learning question. And let me go into that a little bit. So let's say you're a subscription company. On day zero, somebody signs up for a subscription. Well, obviously every subscription company is going to have some churn, right? But there's different ways to calculate that churn. So is it that they cancel their subscription in 6 months? Is it that they cancel in a year? Like what is it that we're actually calculating for churn? And most of these subscription companies will calculate that churn at different time periods. So what is 30-day churn, 90-day churn, 6-month churn, 1-year churn? And depending on what the subscription is, right? It could vary. But ultimately, each one of those is a different machine learning question. The same way that you have to add up active subscribers at a year and divide it by the original initial subscribers at a year, like that's one calculation. You have to make that same calculation at 6 months, 90 days, 30 days.
Yeah.
And people think that machine learning should be able to answer all of those at once with a single model. But really, for each one of those to be able to predict the individuals at an individual granular level, you really, to be able to do it the most accurately and have the best interpretability, you want a model for each one of those times that you're having to run that calculation.
Yeah.
And so people kind of just think, they see it as a big stick, and in some aspects it is, but not in the aspect that it can hit multiple times with one swing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I once heard a joke that when people think of ML, they think that the M stands for magic.
Yeah.
As it turns out, it's machine.
The second thing I would say is people have this expectation. They expect it to garnish brand new, glorious insight that will change their strategy at a very high level. Let's imagine that we're wanting to predict from 1 year of user activity. We want to predict the lifetime value of users after being users for 2 years. Well, one of the fun things about that is that your intuition would probably tell you it's going to be based on what they made in the first year, or what the lifetime value of that user was in the first year. And yeah, machine learning is probably going to say that too. So human intuition is often some of the most feature important drivers. And I guess the thing that I would say is people have this expectation that all of a sudden there's like this brand new thing, like that it surfaces as being really important. And ultimately, if it hasn't been surfaced in BI, if it hasn't been surfaced in general intuition and years and years of business domain knowledge, it's probably not going to surface as being super important in machine learning. The place that machine learning does come in to be valuable is it can confirm those assumptions empirically and mathematically. But also, the thing that I would say is that first, I want to say one more thing that unsuccessful clients do.
Okay.
Unsuccessful clients hunt the golden goose first. Every business has a problem that is their biggest, largest problem that there's a really low probability of actually solving. They don't know the answers, we don't know the answers, and sometimes that's just a social or economic thing that you're going to fight against the whole time of being a business. And so to try and solve that as your first machine learning use case, well, of course, we all wish that we could solve the golden goose, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the golden goose for machine learning would be if I could very accurately predict stock market, in which case I would not be working at Big Squid. So I think that that's one of the challenges, and I think that does come with setting expectations, like having the proper expectations that we're going to fix little things that roll up into making a big difference.
Right.